Okay, just another quick video in between a few calls, just so that I can do what I normally do, which is to let you know what I'm thinking, because what I'm thinking is something that people are interested in. Otherwise, when I offer to answer people's questions, people would not be asking me questions for me to answer, which kind of like makes some kind of like sense, right? Okay, so here I am now, cameras rolling, lights blaring. Okay, this wonderful individual says, like, really got into your channel in the last few months. Just wondering, what are your thoughts on ghost hunting devices, particularly the Ghost Box and Ovilus? Is that right? Also, the recent trend in the use of Kinect systems being used for seeing ghosts. Finally, can a person with little or no psychic ability learn to increase their ability to a great margin? Cheers, Nick. Keep them coming, mate. Okay. Right, okay. Complex stuff happening here with this question, really. If you think about it. If you think about it. What are my views on ghost hunting devices? Well, this is where things get a bit complex, because like whatever the device is, it will do whatever the device does. But there is no cohesive, like, factual, hard and fast science which says that this thing, which we call like a ghost or a spirit or whatever, has some kind of definite, concrete and proven means of affecting, let's say, the ghost box or the Ovilus or whatever. I haven't heard of it. Well, actually, I did Google for an Ovilus because I didn't know what that was. It's not a type of EVP type, ghost boxy type thing, but I didn't really look into it too much, so I don't actually know. But it's just a thing which does something. And when people are like playing around with these things and using them, they ascribe to them the power to receive something from whatever this consciousness, ghost, spirit, or whatever it is they believe in is having an effect. That there's a belief that there is a causal effect between the ghost thinking or doing something and the thing happening. Alright, I mean, let's just take the Ouija board for an example. The Ouija board is a classic example. Why? Because there's so many people saying this is a tool to communicate with ghosts. Yes, it is. Yes. To which I would say we still can't be sure. We don't know this. What we can say, and science has proven this, 160 years worth of history into the science about like the ideomotor effect and the Ouija board and that sort of thing, like, yeah, it is an ideomotor device. Okay, we can say that pretty categorically. Same with the dowsing pendulum, dowsing rods, planchette, with the pen stuck in it to do the automatic writing stroke drawing thing. Ideomotor effect devices. But the question has always been, where does the ideo come from? Now, the more you go through all this weird stuff, right, the more you will have strange experiences. And I do think one thing, that playing around with all these weird little occult toys is some kind of like gateway, not to another dimension, okay, not necessarily a gateway to the psychic world or to the world of demons, yes, the evil world of demons, or whatever. No, it is something which affects you play around with it, you're in a state of suspension of disbelief when you're playing around with, let's say, the Ouija board. You think about things differently, so it changes your focus of awareness, and that seems to be part of the whole equation, because it's to do with how you're thinking, how you're experiencing life, how you're experiencing reality, and of course an altered state of consciousness, which could be that little subtle feeling of excitement stroke fear you get when you're playing with a Ouija board, for instance. And I'm talking about that much more because I know more about it, okay? As well as being someone who's like practiced with meditation and altered states of consciousness. But even if you have your wonderful altered states of consciousness experiences, and earlier this morning I had them, okay, I had weird stuff happen, massive aura experiences, beautiful, powerful, weird, blew me away, very transporting, almost to the point of me like thinking to myself, this is it, I'm like enlightened or something. But I had to like bring myself down from that, because obviously that would be bullshit, okay? It would just be like, I've had this amazing, like, mind-blowing experience, But all it means is I've had an amazing, mind-blowing experience. It doesn't mean to say what it seems to suggest. You see where I'm coming from here? Now, the ghost box is something which goes through all the various different frequencies, picks up like a snatch of music here and a few words there from the radio stations, and it seems to make sentences. And it seems to make words, and it seems to answer questions. But this is the point, it seems to. Okay? Now, you will get, the more you play around with all of these toys and all of these experiences and all of this like meditation, all the rest of it, you will get strange experiences. Some of them will seem to be convergent in terms of like you trying to do something and it will seemingly cause an effect with whatever it is you're doing. But that's where the similarity lies. Now, you can end up going into a position of belief. Now, I've developed a few beliefs over the years. Okay, fine, I admit it. Okay? But I'm intelligent enough to know that those are beliefs. They may be things which seem to be true, but they're not things which are totally crystal clear cut proof positive. I mean, it may be proof positive to the point whereby I have a belief, but I don't have a certainty. Some people confuse belief and certainty. So I believe it, therefore it's true. I believe in whatever, aliens, reptilians, David Icke, Alex fucking Jones and all his bollocks. Well, whatever. Okay. But these are people who are so overtaken with the emotions of their belief that they've stopped being able to distinguish between fact and belief, between like perceived fact and actual fact, and that's a bad thing. Okay, now, yeah, I mean, the typical ghost box can provide you with some fun things to play around with. It'll seem to provide some answers to questions, but we still don't know whether, what is the ghost supposed to have? Some kind of like ability to change probability or to affect things via electromagnetism, and if so, how? And can you prove it conclusively? No, you can't. Nor can I. I'm not saying don't play around with these things. I'm saying do play around with these things because it's fun, it's spooky, it's peculiar, and it can teach you things about yourself and about the way that you see the world. And that is in its own right very important. Okay, it's also like the way in which you can change your seat of perception so that you can eventually have sort of more personal experiences to do with like energy fields and the rest of that kind of stuff, which is also weird and just not a load of strange experiences, but there are a different variety of strange experience which you have to experience to be able to get some kind of understanding from them, and that's more the way in which I operate these days, which is of course weird, okay, but it's just the way I've become. Now, some other people might say, "Oh, you have become spiritually enlightened, or more of a spiritual person." That's like words which have so many different definitions to them. They've lost their meaning. Okay? I mean, you know what a car is. It's got four wheels. It's got a steering wheel. It's got doors. You drive it. It takes diesel or petrol. And so on and so forth. The word car means something. It's relatively fixed. Okay, you can use the word for a carriage of a train and other things, but it's mainly a car is a car. All right. But spiritual has so many meanings. Magic has so many fucking meanings. These words are just being used and abused and abused and used and abused and abused by all the various cults and New Age religions and ordinary religions and all the rest of that, to the point whereby it's become, you might as well say I'm a very person rather than saying I'm a very spiritual person. It's just it's that meaningful. Because it's too many. It sounds lovely, it sounds wonderful, but basically it's all right, and that's putting it mildly. So, what is my take on ghost hunting devices? These are things which are curious. All right, they seem to do something under some circumstances, but we still don't fully understand what they mean. carry on using them, carry on experimenting with them, document your experiments, shove them on YouTube videos, make sure people can watch them, make sure people can, write blogs so people can search for them, write it down in pen and paper, publish books about these things, because people need to look at this stuff and look at it objectively. But please, 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 don't turn around and go with the whole, I am the truth and the light, I am the one who knows everything, this is true, this is factually accurate, this is literal. I mean, whether it's about anything, it's about fucking Ouija boards or, whatever. It's not good. It's not healthy. It provides a false perception of reality to people who are reading your stuff or watching your stuff. It's bollocks. Alright? And on top of that, it's dangerous. Dangerous to individuals, dangerous to, the whole of to the whole of society really, because it affects people within society when you talk like that, when you use that kind of hard truth claim stuff. It's bad, right? Always be asking questions and always be critical when you start to develop beliefs. Because when you start to develop beliefs, they have to be seen as being a belief. These are not hard and fast, concrete, objective facts. That's what we know. But the strange experiences carry on happening to me. Okay? They happen. So that proves that strange experiences occur. That's as far as we can say conclusively. Proven, right? But it makes us want to ask more questions. It doesn't provide us with concrete answers. And you got to really, really, really heavily internalize that into your psyche. Alright? Because questions are questions. And questions, no matter how they're put, are not answers, and they don't provide answers. They're dumb, not stupid, but they are mute. Okay, a question is a question. What colour underwear is that girl down the road wearing today? I haven't the foggiest idea. It's a question. It's hollow. It's empty. It's dumb. It's mute. But we got to carry on asking these questions, because one day in the future, when finally all of the religiosity and spiritual literalism is taken away from all of this weird experiences stuff, hopefully at some point in the future, then the scientists can start taking it seriously. And then if there is something happening here, which I strongly think that there is, in terms of consciousness over distance, something which could have a beneficial effect as far as human communication is concerned, something which has implications for human health, okay, important stuff, then that can start to be explored properly and scientifically without going into, this is proof that spirits exist, this is proof my house is haunted. No, it's not proof, it's an experience. An experience makes us want to ask questions, and the questions are mute, they're dumb, they don't talk themselves, but they do say something about the person who's asking the question, because the way in which the question is framed or expressed. And that's another thing you got to take into account. Okay? I'm Nick Dutch. And I'm pretty fucking cool. Look after yourself.